Welcome to WFPC Podcasting, your local source for the heart and history of Pike County, Indiana. And now, here's your host, Randy Harris.
Welcome to WFPC Podcasting. This is a weekly look at news, information, and the people in and around Pike County. During and following World War II, our country was on high alert and prepared for potential attacks. President Franklin Roosevelt established the Office of Civil Defense, which prepared our communities not only for those potential attacks, but also to coordinate medical, health, and protective measures. Then came the Cold War and the Civil Defense Act of 1950. The program evolved, and over the years, the program shifted toward general emergency management. The name changed to the Emergency Management Agency, and the program, the world, continues to evolve. We have two guests today. One is the Pike County Emergency Management Agency Director, who also administers our 911 emergency call center, Kyler Henry, who is somewhat new to this position, but he has a mentor, Matthew Goebel, who is the director of the EMA for neighboring Warrick County. Matt is almost a Pike County native. Pike County is in his blood. Gentlemen, welcome. So, you've always been involved in emergency response stuff through fire department, through previous careers. You were a dispatcher at one point, weren't you?
Yes. At the early stages of K&J, I did that part-time to help establish the business.
Well, and then you started your own insurance agency.
Correct.
But you've only been in this job for
Since March
of 25.
Correct.
That was now last year. And so you've got a mentor, and he's from the neighboring county, Warrick County, but really, he is about as close to being a Piker as you can get.
That's right.
It's in his blood. Matt, your grandpa was my police chief.
Yep.
We've known each other since you were a baby.
That's right.
I mean, a baby. Your mom, Tammy,
Yep.
Tammy Scales, and you went into law enforcement just like your grandparents.
Yep. Yeah, Grandpa was that role model. He, ever since I was 6 years old, I sat in that squad car, and that was it. And just looking at everyone that was, Pike County, everyone knew Grandpa. They called him Beaky. That was his name. And
I was
in there.
always reserved to call him Beaky.
Yep.
And had to do with his snout.
Yep.
What great times. You're talking about emergency management. I was telling you too the story before the camera was in. The night of the tornado, I called your grandma, who was a dispatcher, and I said, "Dixie, what's going on?" And she said, "The handy hardware just fell in front of my eyes, and I don't know where Bill is."
Mm-hmm.
And that was June 2nd, 1990.
Yeah.
So you have always had that in your blood, and you've always been either first responder or...
Correct. Ever since high school.
Or something. And emergency management agency, it's so easy to get that confused with what Chris Young does, which is EMS.
Correct.
You also handled 911 in Warrick County. Do you handle 911?
No, I do not. That's a separate entity. Yep. I just solely focus on emergency management and for Warrick County.
Do you prefer Matthew, or can I still call you Matt?
You can call me Matt.
Matt, take us through your career. How did you get? What were the steps that you took to get to where you are today?
So I went to Vincent's University, got that law enforcement degree. Grandpa and, all of our families like, you got to go to college. Once I graduated there, I got on with Knox County Sheriff's Department in the jail division and did that for a while. And then I moved away to Indy and then worked for the Department of Corrections up there for a little bit, and then moved back to, home. And that's where I was working under Sheriff Morris, and then that's when Sheriff Vantlet came in, and I stayed there in the jail division and doing the federal coordinator, and I was a sergeant. So I worked with moving around the federal inmates for the U.S. Marshals. And then, I wanted to actually move back to Evansville. So I was, finding a place where I could go. And at the time, there wasn't an opening that I was looking for. So I went to the private sector. And then, I tell people all the time, we have a purpose in life. And that always came back to serving and helping people. And that's instilled in me. As you know, grandpa, grandma, that's just what we are, is servants and to help. And I found a job opening for Warrick County EMA as a deputy director, and I was hired in 2023 as a deputy director, and then not even a year, I became the director in 2024.
So many of the people that we have on this podcast have exactly what you're saying, that servant's heart. Mm-hmm. They just want to help. And we never know where God's providence is going to send us. We just have to get out of his way.
Yeah, EMA, and Kyler can contest. We see the worst of the worst. We're there during that time, and going up to the people that I have, and we've had 10 tornadoes, mine collapse, building collapse, flooding, ice storms.
In Warrick
all
County.
In Warrick County so far since I took over in 2024. So I've seen people at their worst, but that servant's heart is you go up to them and just be on their level and talk to them.
What are your needs?
Mm-hmm. I make sure that I can do anything and everything I can for them, for my residents in Warrick. Even, we're not just our county. We will come up to Pike County. We'll go to what we call District 10, and we have multiple different counties that we will respond to help their other EMAs.
So, talking history, Kyler, I'm not trying to exclude you from this.
No, you're fine.
Talking history, Tonda Dixon.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. She has kind of helped corral you two and say that here's where we're going, right?
Yeah. So Tonda is our district liaison from IDHS.
And Tonda learned from Ernie Hume. Next week we have Ernie's widow in here. Ernie took this position all the way back to, I'm guessing, the early 50s. We'll probably find out next week. Early 50s, late 40s, when it was civil defense. And that grew into what is now your emergency management. Mm-hmm. Kyler, walk us through your steps to get to where we are today.
Well, say I graduated from here in 2004 from Pike Central. I joined Petersburg Fire Department my junior year of high school. As a cadet. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then went to Indiana University. Graduated with a teaching degree. The goal was to be a phys ed teacher. Be elementary phys ed teacher. And recession happened. Teachers really weren't being hired at that time.
I remember that recession.
And worked at Toyota factory for a little bit, and then applied for the probation officer job here in Pike County. Took that and did that job for 8 years and 1 day. But during that time, back in October 2011, rejoined the fire department. Currently now I'm assistant chief of Petersburg Fire Department. 2019, I knew I wanted a change, and me and Johnny Voiles talked about insurance one day, just out of the blue. We were just walking, and we just both had an idea of, we're going to start an agency.
And Johnny was on the fire department, or is on the fire department.
That's actually where the discussion happened. We were just hanging out at the fire department that day, and that's where the magic happened.
So you also have K&J Insurance.
Do you have K&J still?
And then the commissioners came to you, said, we've got a void to fill.
So this is right after a tornado came in 2025.
In Algiers.
I was actually on top of Briar Metter's roof, helping getting things worked out for his claim and everything. And it's kind of where the process started. And the commissioners came to me and
said, you've
told
got
me
experience
to do with my experience and everything. I said, give me 24 hours. I need to talk to my wife, Stephanie. And I also reached out to Brandon, who was the current EMA director at the time. He was getting ready to leave.
He had a career change.
And he said, we're doing damage assessments right now. They had Tonda with him and had Brittany Stockey with him. And I said, I want to go see what this is about. So I hopped in the truck with him that day, drove around, helped, figure out what, all that was a need and what we could do and everything. And talked to Steph that night, and she goes, I think you need to do this.
Wow.
So from that, just kind of took off, and it's really been a blessing. I'm a busy man, we'll say that for sure.
Keeps you out of trouble.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it gets you in more trouble.
But I enjoy it. She knows I enjoy it, and the EMA side of it is great. I also do love the dispatch side. I dispatched during the early days in K&J. It helped keep food on the table for the family, provided, and now being able to help run that too is a blessing as well.
Great.
So
how did you two connect? Have you always known each other?
No, is that true? I think at the District 10 meetings we were just talking, and he told me about his ties to Pike County and everything. And then since then, he's had about every natural disaster. So I always know that if I have something I do not know what to do, I can call Matt, and he can help guide me on what directions I need to.
His mother was Miss Pike County.
Yeah.
So those and
what happened to you?
That's a good question.
Aunt Pam and Uncle Randy are still keep in touch with you, don't they?
Yep. Uncle Randy's still here, and Aunt Pam's down in Georgia.
Great.
Yep.
So you connect with Matt, and he helps
guide whatever. And that's one thing I learned about is going to our district meetings. It's a close-knit family.
It is family.
We can rely on each other. If he needed help with any assessments, I'd go down there and help him. If vice versa, everybody's really connected, which is fantastic in our region.
And that's really an important part is that family. We have a lot of counties within District 10, and knowing that we can rely on the other EMAs to come in and help when some counties don't even have the volunteers or the staff to do it. Relying on our other EMAs is a huge benefit for us, and working together it shows our bond as what he says as a family, because we will always be there for everyone just to make sure that our residents are always taken care of, no matter if it's Warrick or Pike. We're always going to be there for them.
First responders are always first responders, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's always in my heart, and I will always stay like that.
We talked a little bit during the intro of how this evolved. It evolved World War II civil defense, and then the Cold War came, and the goal was to keep our communities prepared after 30 plus years that grew into emergency management. How does that continue to evolve? It's so much bigger than it was even 10 years ago,
Right.
even 15 years ago when I started following it. And Ernie was the EMA director in the late 80s. How's this all growing, developing? Where does it stop?
It's never going to stop. I mean, there's new technology. There's there's a lot of new stuff that's coming out that's really going to benefit, the residents and us as an agency that will help the other first responders, because EMA just doesn't do just EMA. We have stakeholders, we have partners, just like the fire departments, the police departments, EMS, state to federal. So with that revolving, the preparations and preparing, we do mitigations and plans, recovery, like that is what we do. And, from civil defense to now, it's huge. So just for me in Warrick County, for preparing, we took it and we ran with it by working with different stakeholders. And one was our health department. So our plan was we wanted to do for preparing, big thing that we have is active shooters. That's a big thing that's going on. It's huge here in the United States. Mm-hmm. So our goal out of our office was to get training for all the staff in Warrick County School Corporation and to put Stop the Bleed kits in every single classroom. We did that with the help of our Warrick County Health Department, and we put 920 Stop the Bleed kits in all of our classrooms and got all the teachers trained. We bring, as EMAs, we bring training to all the first responders that we can get that would help them. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes that people don't really see.
It wasn't on my vision even for this discussion. I didn't think about it. I'm thinking I worked with Ernie in communicating what was going on when the well field blew out. 2 weeks prior to the tornado, we had FEMA here for 2 weeks. We get a water source back online on June 2nd, 1990. That night, the tornado came through. That's what I'm thinking of for emergency management.
Yeah.
This past year, you've had other things develop in the world that we've got to be prepared for.
We as an EMA...
And we pray that it never hits us.
Yeah,
right.
We do. Faith is big with me, but that's one thing is, as EMA directors, we have to think outside of the box a lot of times to find out what kind of resources and tools or equipment that we can bring in for us and the first responders that's going to help the residents. So that's one big thing our job is to think outside the box of what we can do for the preparations or to be prepared for anything really at this point in this world.
We'll be right back. But first, let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors.
Recently, the real estate market has been unpredictable, but at Harris Real Estate, we still have clients looking for homes and properties. Let us help you sell your home and or property and or find your next one. We're local. We know the business. We know the community. Harris Real Estate has listed and sold hundreds of properties right here. Harris Real Estate, 812-380-1065. And when you wash your car or vehicle on a regular basis, there are many advantages. You're easier to see, you preserve the life of your vehicle, help maintain its value, protect its paint, prevent corrosion, and it just looks better. It only takes 6 quarters or your credit card to get it started. Stop by Petersburg Car Wash today. Petersburg Car Wash, home of the springtime yellow Mustang. 401 South 9th Street, Petersburg. Thanks to you, our audience, WFPC Podcasting is growing. Since the first episode was launched May 28th, 80,000 views, including full episodes and social media views, have come in, and it's growing. People are coming back and watching the original programs for the first time. We appreciate you. If you have a business or product that you would like to advertise, and if we're a good fit for each other, contact us, 812-354-2006. Thanks again for watching. Wow. And, you are in Warrick County. Part of Warrick County is rural, and that part connects with Pike County.
Yep.
But your urban areas of Warrick connect more with Evansville.
Yeah.
That's a big community compared to us.
Yeah.
And so Warrick, how many people are in Warrick County today?
Last time I checked, it was over 67,000.
See, we're 12,000. You've got more resources. You've got more financial resources than he has to work with and distribute. So he's on a tighter budget.
And that's where, like Kyler was talking about, family, as the EMA, to be in the family. The resources that we have will go and help the resources of a neighboring county. We have a mobile command unit. We have disaster response trailers. We have lights, generators. That's what that stuff, is for. If our neighboring counties are hit and we're safe, then those resources will be going to help those residents during the time of need.
And then you've also you've got that whole Region 10 that
Yep.
cares about their neighbors.
Yeah. And, when I try to be efficient for our county, where it's just, we try to work within our county and then other counties. But if it's that bad, we will call immediately, request resources from the State Homeland Security, which has been phenomenal to work with. They came down for my last year's tornado that went through Newburgh. And then, with the flooding that we've had FEMA come in, and they've been really good to work with as well for me in Warrick County.
So besides the flooding, besides the tornado, you had a tornado last year hit Jefferson Township. What else are you seeing that you can look at Matt and say, how you deal with this?
So we've had that. We've had our own flooding. Of course, White River, in April, we had some residents that were stuck at their homes, did not get out in time. So at that point, I got a hold of the conservation officer just before we had our EMA boat. And me and conservation went out and got the residents off the river, got them rescued. So we've had that. First couple months was a whirlwind because we did have multiple disasters. We did have an earthquake, but we weren't really too affected by that. No. I think that was late April, if I remember right. Fires are always can be
Devastating.
Can be devastating.
And your not only your first responder experience, but also that insurance experience.
Right.
All collects up there in that
absolutely
bag of knowledge that you have
absolutely
to help share and facilitate and get the job accomplished.
Right.
Your tool bag of resources.
Yeah, they say jack of all trades or, master of none, but
it all comes together to help in the position you're in now.
Does.
And you've got this resource here
right.
to draw on his experience as well.
Which, so we have, it's a District 10 generator, but we house it. It's a, I think it's a 7,500 kilowatt generator. And there was actually a hospital in Corden about 2 months ago that they thought they might have a wing shut down. And we were prepared to take it, load up and take it down there in case they needed it. Luckily, they were able to get things figured out without it. But that's, it was a call at 3:00. Hey, we might be needing this, and there'll be no problem. We'll
get it to you.
We'll get it to you. But
you didn't have to do that.
Luckily, didn't have to do it. Luckily, they got things figured out. But that's the mentality we have in our area, is being ready to go and do that.
In southern Indiana, it might be spread out geographically, but once you make those connections with the people,
absolutely,
you're connected. It's your family.
Yeah. I mean, my family's from Pike, and my family on my dad's side's from Evansville. So if you hear of Pike County and Evansville getting hit, that's, we got to check on our families and make sure that they're all right as well. And that just makes you just want to just go there and make sure they're taken care of and EMAs are taken care of and the residents. But yeah, that's where my mindset is we have to help the people and do everything that we possibly can. I will always tell them that we can never promise anything, but I will always try my hardest to find out what we can and try to bring resources that they need during that time. And that was, when we had a building collapse at the beginning of in April, and we had misplaced families, so it took time to find them a place. But that's why EMAs, we work with stakeholders, and they got into hotels for a little bit. But on the backside of it, out of the own time, we found an apartment for a lady in Boonville, and out of my own time, I got some friends together, and we talked with the landowner of the hotel or of the apartment and painted it for her so she could get in quicker because it wasn't ready. So that's the stuff that they don't see that we do behind scenes with the planning, with the meetings that we have with stakeholders to try to bring this kind of stuff. But it all comes back to our residents. And I know Kyler's the same way. He will be there just like I am for mine.
That's where that community kicks in.
Mm-hmm. That's the family of everyone. No matter if they're just residents or not, I look at them as family. We got to make sure we all take care of each other.
And so when we had our building collapse,
right,
I knew he had one. So I wanted to call him. Okay, what steps did you do? I called Tonda, and then just kind of went direction of getting I-Beam and IDEM, got a hold of them and seeing what all, needed to be done and what steps. So.
And the road is still closed.
It's still closed right now.
Still closed.
Maybe by the time of this airing, it will be lifted. But, just for precautionary.
Yeah, it's precautionary. So right now, and the last update I got was as of yesterday, is the still waiting on the structural engineers to make sure when they start that demolition what's going to happen, and that's all through that insurance company. So they're handling that. But yeah, I know everybody's ready for that road to be open, and I completely agree. So.
And again, we have the mindset, water, fire, tornadoes. You brought up just craziness of
I brought up about every disaster we possibly could have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you're not dealing with a disaster, I assume you're preparing for what the next one might be.
Yeah, we are actually. We learn from the last storm. We sit down and have after action reviews, and with the key stakeholders, with the fire, police, EMS, we bring all of them together. We have an after action. We find out what went wrong, what we can do better, what happened good, and what worked. And that's what we do after Warrick County. We all get together and we talk and make sure everything is, what we're going to do next time. And then I go back to the office, and if we needed equipment, I see if we can get that or work towards it. But that's what we do when I get back into the office.
And you mentioned working with the health department, so you can coordinate resources with them.
Yep.
and say, do you have availability for these or do you need these?
Yeah, that's the most important thing you can do as EMA is build those relationships up with all different departments, health departments, state, Homeland Security, federal government, like anyone, even Red Cross is a huge stakeholder.
Even private.
Yes, private.
Right.
Yep. I mean, there is companies out there that is the same thing. They have a heart that wants to give back to the communities, and you build those relationships up that if the time needs, you can call them and they will help you as well.
And you can say, I have this need. Can you help us?
Red Cross has been phenomenal for us in Warrick County for all of our disasters that we've had. I can call on them and they'll be right there for us.
And see, we don't see that side of it. I mean, we being the public, we don't see what you two are privy to.
Right.
Yeah.
On getting all that coordinated to be prepared.
Yeah.
So you don't see this slowing down. We're not going back to the Civil Defense Department, are we?
No, I mean, we are moving forwards with all kind of different, instances and disasters and stuff. But like I said, we just have to keep that mindset of working together as a family, making sure our residents are taken care of, and bring in those resources and the equipment that we see out there that we can try to bring for our counties.
Where do you see Pike County going?
As technology increases, I like to kind of educate our residents of, and there's one thing I met with the National Weather Service last Friday, and she was showing me some technology on our phones that, hey, everybody can enable emergency alerts. So when storms are coming through, we know, if some reason if they have their phone on, they will know.
You can go into that program and click on it and say, we've got issues coming.
We can show them and show everybody how to do that. And that's one goal I plan on doing this year is like, hey, anybody wants to educate, this is how we can do it on these smartphones.
And those smartphones, you just think, oh my, Bill Scales didn't have one of those.
No, I remember when the technology started coming, he was telling me it's time for him to retire.
His belt was too heavy the way it was.
Yeah.
He sat in that car like this because so much weight on that belt.
Yeah.
And but those smartphones, they simplify it, but they complicate it.
You're right.
Yep.
So if there's a way that I can help people who just
and you're pretty tech savvy, aren't you?
For a majority of the part, yes. So if I can do that to help people so then they would get that alert, that'd be fantastic. Weather radios are a huge thing if, something I would like to get more for the county to spread out eventually. Because, they will wake up a cemetery. They were so loud in your house. And which, tornado sirens, they're not meant to be heard inside your house.
Yeah, that's a big thing right there. A lot of the residents think that, they're supposed to hear that inside. And no, they're made for outdoor weather sirens. And, if you live next to one, you will hear it. But I have a lot of people that say, well, I didn't hear the siren go off. And that's when we introduced, like Kyler said, the weather radio. Weather radios are a huge thing, and the good thing is it looked like we had an email that come across that, the state will be giving us EMAs, some weather radios that we can hand out to our residents. Now, we don't know how much, how many we're going to give, but
right.
It's still something that we can give back to our residents who are going to be looking for it.
You're not going to get 60,000.
No.
You're not going to get 12,000. No.
And Back at the time when we were talking about 1990, there was one old vintage that sat on top of City Hall.
Yep.
And it was a siren.
I remember that when I was a kid.
Yeah. And then I think 1990 is when we upgraded to those wheelings that were placed throughout the community.
Well, we're talking about civil defense. That's where the original sirens actually came from, was the civil defense era. and it was to warn the people if there was bombings that were going to be coming. And then they came into being outdoor weather sirens. And actually, some history in Warrick before I came on, there can be set 2 different tones, and that one, they could be used for fire departments. If there was a fire run, they would set off a different tone than an actual tornado warning siren would go off, and that's how the firefighters actually would know that there was a run in their area. So it's like I said, history is a huge thing with me. I love history, and just the civil defense era. I mean, that's to where we are now. You're
not training
incredible.
Kids to climb under the desk in case of a nuclear attack.
No, we're not doing that no more. But it is phenomenal to see where the technology and the trainings and everything have progressed to where we are now. And I have a lot of actually some stuff, civil defense era, that we keep in our office because I don't ever want to get rid of it. I'm trying to get a little box to put together for all that stuff.
This is where we've grown from.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can never get rid of history.
It tells us where we're going.
Yeah.
Transparency. Do you, I assume you want the community involved. Hopefully this gets some people involved. Mm-hmm. Do you have regular meetings or you, couple months ago you had the day out at Pike Central. Mm-hmm. How do you get the public informed and aware of what's going on, what changes are going on, what they can do to be proactive in preparation of an emergency?
Social media is a great tool for those who use it. Say Pike County EMA does have a Facebook page. A lot of times we'll do weather updates on it. Just any type of emergency preparedness. If we know there's a cold spell coming in, hey,
it's going to be 6 degrees.
Right. Trying to get that out there. A lot of time during the storm season, we would have some places for shelter places for like First Baptist Church was one. If we had set up, if we went to tornado warning, a place for people can go. They would open it up, and so we, promoting those safe places beforehand. Just trying to get that preparedness, out there.
What is your most active social media? Is that Facebook?
It'd be Facebook, yes.
And we just type in Pike County EMA?
Pike County EMA, yes.
And that brings us to what you've got going on.
Yep.
Do you have Warrick County EMA?
So ours is all spelt out, Warrick County Emergency Management Agency. But we're the same as Kyler. We use social media. We get out there. If I have news that I want to get out there, I call, contact our news channels throughout, and we go like that. They come to our office or out there in the public. Or a big thing with me is going to the different community events that we have in our county, like the parades or Boo and Boonville, or like Fremont Park is a big place that we go. That's another way that we can get out and have the kids and the parents come and talk to us and find out what we do. And that's the spot where we need to be out in the public more. And that's why I've taken that from my agency out there, so we can make sure we're seen, not just during a disaster at your worst time, but during good times with your family and friends.
Right.
And just come and, let the kids walk through our, mobile command, or just sit in the truck and, kids still like the lights and sirens. That's just something that can start the conversations with the parents and find out what we do.
Well, and the younger you can build that advocacy in with them, they might grow up to work with you as a first responder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That might get in their blood.
Yeah.
To help other people.
And there's multiple roles in the EMA. You have a meteorologist.
So my deputy director graduated with his meteorologist degree, so he plays a huge factor for us, and because our partnership with the National Weather Service is phenomenal, but having that more knowledge right there at the tips where he's talking with them directly is a huge thing that we utilize. Where we're going to put new weather stations throughout our county is one thing, so the National Weather Service can use our data as well. But we have that, and we have a part-time operations officer, and then we have a full-time admin, and I'm full-time as well as a director.
We're just lucky to be here. No, and which, I mean, you know, we're such a small county, and we always have to wear multiple hats. I mean, there was a fire not that long ago that I went to go do EMA duties, and Chris Young, our EMS director, was fire chief on scene, and he says, "Do you have your gear?" I said, "I do not." I saw an extra set in the back of your truck. He said, "Well, that's Connor's. If you can make it fit," he goes, "I need you." So put on the gear, and I went interior in that fire just because our small community, I mean, volunteerism is hurting right now on our, you know, small fire department. So we had to wear multiple hats and get things done the best we can.
So why is that? Do you have any theories or hypothesis on why that's not building out in the community? When you were younger,
Right.
It was pretty powerful.
It was. I mean, you know, when I was younger, even young into adulthood, you know, we all volunteered. I mean, you know, you and I were part of Kiwanis. I was part of fire department. We was everything. And now it's just time. I think I'm going to say everybody's too busy, I guess, but it just seems like time is always one of the biggest issues, I would say.
And it's probably worse in the more populated areas.
There is, you know, there is people that want to go out there and help. We have a group that's our emergency Oxcom team. They make it a point that if our communications go down, we have Oxcom volunteers. But there is where I'm going to try to build up our volunteers. That's where it comes to being out in the public. We have people that come up to us and say, "How can we help?" And then that's where we build our volunteers. And we have I want to bring back what's called a CERT team. That's a community emergency response team. And they go through trainings as well that will help during, you know, disasters. And they have a complete set of gear that they do. And so I want to bring that back to see what we can get for volunteers. But Kyler's right. Volunteers is one thing that EMAs definitely need to have during a disaster, because we do a lot of different things, different roles that we need volunteers to go out and help us.
In a place like Pike County, if you're volunteering with a fire department, you're connected, because you're going. It's like you say, you show up at a scene, and Chris says, "We need help." So if you start out with that fire department, and I think they all have programs for cadets that gets them started, you get, you know, if parents and grandparents are watching this and the kids aren't, get those kids off that phone and get them helping in the community.
Right.
Yeah, volunteer at the fire departments are phenomenal.
You two have always had that servant's heart to help your community and to help people. I know your history.
Yeah. My grandpa.
Yep. And grandma.
Yeah.
Can't forget Dixie.
No.
Fellas, this is an interesting conversation. Is there
great.
anything else we need to discuss? I think he was nervous, thinking I was Sam Donaldson interviewing Ronald Reagan. Well, this is pretty laid back.
Yeah.
But what else do we need to talk about?
I think people be vigilant. I think, especially with tornadoes, I mean, growing up here, I remember seeing tornadoes, getting tornado warnings, not thinking anything about it, getting used to it. And I mean, when there's a warning, we really need to take that to heart. I think a lot of people do not.
I'm like that. And sometimes I think we overreact to that.
Right. And I mean, I understand, but it's that one time. That's, that what worries us.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I would, if anyone, residents like to come to our office, Pike Counties or anyone's, EMAs, because we have 92 counties and they all have EMAs. Mm-hmm. That's one way to get people interested, is just come by and talk with us and see, what we're about and get the history behind it.
He's out and about a lot. I don't see him.
I am too. But
I don't see him sitting in an office a whole lot.
Yeah, no. We are nonstop with meetings and stuff like that. And if we're not, we're working on grants for our counties or preparation for plannings and stuff like that we have, trainings. But I will always make time for anyone that comes into my office. And I know Kyler's the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, gentlemen, we sure appreciate your service to your communities, and we've established you're Warrick County, but you're here to help him and us as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
Thanks for joining us for this program of WFPC Podcasting. The program is brought to you by Harris Real Estate, Hathaway Excavating and Rock Yard, and Petersburg Car Wash. Please like the podcast and share with your friends so more people can hear about WFPC. You may find WFPC Podcasting on our website, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you listen to your favorite media. Join us next Friday for another WFPC podcast exploring the people, information, and the news right here in Pike County. See you next week.
Thanks for watching WFPC Podcasting, your local source for the heart and history of Pike County, Indiana. From back roads to town centers, we bring you the voices, stories, and news that shape our community. Join us on this journey through the past, present, and future of Pike County, Indiana. Tune in next week for the next episode of WFPC Podcasting.